I'd like to introduce Stella. Just to take a moment to connect with you all. Have you ever considered your relationship with failure? Today I'm going to share with you my relationship with failure and what I believe lies in failure. Because I believe that when you can face the personal challenge, in particular failure, you have the opportunity to grow. So I'm going to share with you my personal story and how I built what I would call a really great relationship with failure. I'll start with me from the beginning of time. From a very young child, I knew that my purpose in life was to help people. I had a passion for disabled children, both mentally and physically. At school, I was considered the local school counsellor. All of the disabled and mentally ill were my friends. They came to me. They called me Dr. Goose. At the time, my favourite movie was Patch Adams. And I dreamt of having a life like Patch Adams, where I could help thousands of people and be the difference in their day. I knew very, very early on that my role in this world was to be a doctor. I used to read books about the power of the mind, how to bring out the power of thought. And very early on, I used that to study. And I focused. I received high 90s in the UAI. I finished with a B Med Rad Sci, and I won the Faculty of Health University Medal. Success. When I got into the hospital system and I completed my internship here, I quickly realised that medicine was not the right fit for me. What medicine and the hospital system was asking me to do was to be really distant to people, but all I wanted to do was get close. Leaving medicine was like self-sabotage. The people around me thought that I was a failure. Years of study, effort and focus, only to walk away. But I didn't look at myself as a failure. I had to leave. I couldn't live a life for the next 30, 40 years in an industry that I couldn't connect with, or I couldn't be me, or I couldn't connect deeply with people. What I learned from that experience is that it's okay to change jobs. It's okay, really it's okay to do what makes you happy. I learned what it took to do the right thing for me, not for someone else telling me. I went from that failure to an even bigger failure, probably the biggest in my life so far. Uneducated in anything that could get me a corporate job, I found myself completely unemployable. So I went back and I started studying neuro-linguistic programming, which is a form of cognitive behavioural therapy. And what NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, taught me is that the stories that you tell yourself in your mind create your emotions. And your emotions, in turn, create your behaviours and your results. So, if you told yourself you're a failure, you indeed acted out as a failure. So I started my first business, Mind Connection, where I interacted with people at the level of their thoughts. It was a coaching business. I worked with patients that had anorexia to people that had relationship issues. I loved this business. I loved what I was doing. But the business itself was a flop. It made no money. I was making enough money to pay my rent and the electricity, and that's it. I wasn't making enough money to sustain a healthy life or a living. I remember the days where I probably went for 6 to 12 months there, where I was eating a couple of dozen eggs a week and bread, just to get by. Where this business left me was completely in debt, in fact beyond debt, and again, unemployed. But what this failure taught me, and probably my biggest learning, was resilience. I learned what it took to build that muscle. You're not born with resilience. No child is born into this world with that muscle. But I grew it in this business because I couldn't fail again. I couldn't have another moment of giving something a crack and failing again. Every day I woke up and I know that this is going down. I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring my energy. I'm going to make this work. And it's in that challenge, that face of the challenge, the face of the push, where this grows. After a very short stint at Johnson & Johnson as a medical rep, because that's the only company that would employ someone like me, I magically fell into recruitment like so many recruiters do. I found myself a job with a US multinational. And what I was able to do in recruitment is bring my bedside manner from the hospital into an environment where I could work with individuals deeply in an industry that truly lacks care. I brought my entrepreneurial skills from starting my own business to starting up a recruitment desk and building loyal customers that are still with me today. Metcash being my first 11 years ago. And I was able to bring my resilience, my tough muscle, to picking up the phone and making all those cold calls and the people saying, I don't want to talk to you, just another recruiter, go away. That resilience kept me strong in the face of all those calls. I've been in recruitment now for 11 years. I finally, thank God, found a job where I could be me, where I could express myself in the way that would support me, where it would build my strengths, not hinder me. I started to flourish once I found recruitment, but it was the journey of getting there that actually has brought my success. The journey, it shaped my thinking. And it shaped my heart to really understand you've got to chase what makes this happy. That is the most important thing. I co-founded Reo 9 years ago with my husband. Our vision is elevating human potential. From nothing, we've grown the business to being a well-respected and reputable firm in our market. The business didn't grow because I was seasoned. I'm not a seasoned leader. I had no idea what I was doing when I started. It's grown because it has a group of leaders and a team that are willing to fail and face the challenge. What we have at Reo is a healthy relationship with failure. We use failure to inform us. If you embrace failure rather than pushing it the other way, what will happen at the other side is that you will learn. The magic of growth comes in facing life's failures. Running Reo has been my biggest challenge. Startup business, post the GFC, saturated market. We had all the odds against us, we should have failed. It was just a tiring relentlessness of one challenge after the other. And it was that tiring bum, 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 bum of challenge that's actually taught me how to be a CEO. What I believe is that you have to retract to expand. I don't believe that that you can grow when you're winning. I've never grown when I'm winning. I've never learned when I'm winning. I only grow when I've made a big error, I've stuffed something up, I've failed, I've lost money, and I'm in darkness and I don't know how to get out. And I ask myself, how am I going to get myself out of this mess? And in that question, a fraction of light comes through and shows me a way. And it's in looking up and seeing the light and understanding what I've got to do that gets me through that. Every year, I fail forward. Now I look at life like the waves in a sea. Waves. The waves in the sea never stop crashing on the beach. There's never a moment that Mother Nature says, I'm going to let the sea be calm for a moment and stop issuing waves. Life's like that with challenges. They don't stop. Yes, they don't stop. So you throw yourself into the first wave, you get dunked by it, sand goes up your bum and into your ears, and as embarrassed as you are, you surface, you put your hair back on, put your pants back up, and you throw yourself back into the next wave. But this time you've learnt, you go a little bit further. You swim under the wave, you swim over the wave. The further out you swim, the more skill you need to come back. This time you need to learn how to surf. And once you've learned how to surf, you don't get dumped by the waves. I've learned to surf the waves of my life. So the waves of being married to a man that I work with, having 2 kids under the age of 5, having 2 pregnancies and having to recover my body from 2 pregnancies. Just wife, mum, working full-time mum. I mean, I'm getting tired just talking it out. I know you're getting tired listening to me. But you know, what I've realised is that every time I fail, my board gets bigger. And when your board gets bigger, you can ride bigger waves. So now the biggest of waves come towards me and I am not scared anymore. I see them more like ripples. Building a positive relationship with failure will give you an opportunity to grow. Be prepared to face the challenge. Be prepared to fail. We don't get taught how to deal with the pitfalls of life. There's no training school out there that's going to teach you how to handle divorce, how to handle cancer, how to handle death of a parent, a child, redundancy. There's nothing out there that's going to teach you how to face up to these sorts of challenges. We don't get taught. We've just got to kind of fail and learn. And that's how we grow. We've got a world right now where being number 1 is so important. Getting the most likes on social media. And it's kind of becoming a bit unhealthy. See, failure's become a dirty word. But it doesn't have to be like that. We need to embrace it, or we won't survive. So, can we imagine a world that embraces failure? Can we imagine an organisation where failing forward might be rewarded? And if you're looking to grow, my question to you is, how do you grow? Remember, when Edison was finding the right filament for the electric light bulb, he went through 6,000 different filaments before he found the right one, carbonised bamboo. So my question to you is, do you have a healthy relationship with failure? And for the leaders among us here, can you pioneer a change in your pod where you can encourage your people to test, fail, grow, and still be rewarded? And for those here who are gunning for growth, if you don't have a positive relationship with failure, my question to you is, how will you grow? Consider your relationship with failure today. Is it a healthy one? Is it serving you? Is it encouraging you to grow? We must first start with the person in the mirror. For us to grow and develop in this world, we must first start with ourselves. The magic of growth happens at the turn of failure. My wish for you is for you to build a relationship with failure, as I have, and feel the joy of growth and feel that freedom of not being scared anymore. Thank you.